Pastoralism. So Neolithic revolution meant domestication of plants and also animals. Domestication of plants led to agriculture. Agriculture first started with extensive and then intensive. Extensive and then intensive. Domestication of animals may have started with domesticating few and small in number, but later some specialization took place in the domestication of animals. Bringing them up in herds, in hundreds. That you can say is pastoralism. Pastoralism. Pastoralism is about domestication of animals and sending them into domesticating animals released into large vegetated outdoor lands for grazing. This is pastoralism. So, this is about domestication of animals on a large scale. But here, two kinds of evolutionary lines are proposed. One is that people at one time had mixed farming, that is animals and plants, animals and cultivation. When intensive agriculture developed, some people went agriculture side and some went pastoral. So mixed farming to kind of specialization, pastoralism came. This is one theory. Another theory is that it came directly from hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gatherers, as they developed more techniques or more skill over management of animals, then some of them became pastoralists. And not from mixed farming. Okay. Whatever be the evolutionary route, pastoralism is about specialization in the animals, domestication, and using them for a variety of products, be it milk, wool, meat, hides, variety of animal products, including blood. So you can say it is cultivation of animals. And what is important here is that when human beings are drawing food or other products from animals, how are they making use of the land? Making use of the animals is an indirect way of making use of the land, because animals graze on the land. And you have animals grazing on the land. So if agriculture is making use of the land directly, pastoralism is making use of the land indirectly, making use of the land. So animals feed on the land and humans feed on the animals. It's one level high. And the land on which the animals feed on uh, may not be good for cultivation purpose. So people cultivate what they can directly and they leave the uncultivated or they leave other lands for animals to make use of. So which means pastoralism is a more extensive use of all kinds of land because resources on the land are converted into items through the intermediation of animals. Okay. Take one small Indian village. There are people, and there are some caste groups who grow sheep, goat, buffaloes, and supply meat, milk, and other things. How do they do it? They often release them for grazing on the common lands. So for grazing on common lands. On common lands. Then they convert this land into useful items. Sedentary pastoralism, mobile pastoralism are two types. Sedentary pastoralism is people staying at one place and animals are allowed to go within a particular confines of an area. Grazing area limited, that is sedentary. On the other hand, herders take the animals to different places even within a day or for a few hours and bring them back after grazing certain common lands is mobile pastoralism. When animals can be taken to very huge distances and animals graze over long distances. Animals go to areas and travel across seasons. That is called transhumans. Transhumans. These animals are routinely moved between different seasonal pastures and across regions. So transhumans is a very specialized kind of pastoralism. One such community that is involved in this transhumans is Gaddi of Himachal Pradesh. They take their sheep and goat over covering long distances. They are on a hilly terrain They move across seasons. During winter, they come down, and during summer, they go up. So, across seasons, you have across different kinds of vegetation, and animals will have different kind of plants, and their home is often located somewhere in between these two extremes of the moments. So these are Gaddi community, and let us see how far they travel.
The Gaddis can never be sure about the duration of their horde. It is the sheep and goat who dictate the time. Once the herds are ready to move, they travel through the Kukti Pass to reach Lahaul Spiti, where colorful prayer flags welcome them to the land of Buddha. Lahaul Spiti.
See the huge distance they cover. Daswa to Kangra to Dhauladur, Rak, like this. My God. So huge distances. So they experience different lands, different seasons, mountain passes, and many communities across for a long period of time. Just around 3 to 4 will manage around 3 to 4 hundreds of sheep.
Where colorful prayer flags welcome them to the land of Buddha. Past the monastery, some of the herds continue trekking upwards despite the harsh environment, while others stay back at Lahaul Spiti.
हमारा जो मतलब परमटी वो नूरपुर का है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कांगड़ा का। वहाँ करते हैं हम 3 महीने, उसके बाद वापस आ जाते हैं बाया सिमता, बाया राख और ब्रह्मौर में। ब्रह्मौर में हमारा गांव में मतलब घर बार है, अपने परिवार बार हमारा वहीं रहता है। उसके बाद हम आ जाते हैं कुक्ति। कुक्ति काटते 1 महीना, 1 महीने।
So that is the highest place, Sarchu.
1 महीने काटने के बावजूद उसके बाद इधर आ जाते हैं हम लाहौल स्पीति।
Going through the beautiful Jispa village, they travel past the tree line to reach Sarchu. The quest for green pastures ends here at an altitude of 13,850 feet. The herds will stay here at Sarchu for 1 month. Up amidst the snow-clad mountains are the alpine meadows with sweet, fragrant grass in plenty. This will make any sheep and goat healthy and strong. They will produce more milk and the woolly coat will grow soft and thick. Life at this altitude is extremely tough. The herders must live in temporary camps which they build by digging pits and piling low walls of rock around the periphery. When the icy winds blow, the rock walls shield them from the winds. With the first hint of the approaching winter, in mid to late August, the herds begin to descend.
So very tough life. It involves facing different climates, living isolated for many days, facing risks, different climates, and often or always it is the animals that guide their stay. When animals have food, they'll stay. When animals don't have, they will move. They sometimes need to carry the sick or wounded. And along the route, they have traditional relationship with various communities. Those communities provide the things that Gaddis need, and Gaddis give what they have from the animals. And even till date, with some communities, there is only non-monetary and reciprocal relationship. For example, Lahul Spiti people provide food, grains, vegetables, and send Gaddis by mules. What these things in exchange. So long distances across climate zones and relationship across communities. So this is like a seasonal cycle. So this is what is called transhumans. Okay. This has been going on for centuries. But what is the position now? The position now, as you can guess, it is this kind of pastoralism is very difficult to continue. Why is it so? Most serious problem is population pressure. Population pressure in the region, which is leading to less availability of grazing grounds, which means less food for animals. So, which means life is difficult for the pastoralists. So, population is growing and grazing lands are shrinking. Grazing lands are shrinking not only due to the population, but various kinds of intrusion, urbanization, or various projects, some hydroelectric projects, various kinds of so-called developmental activities. And also, you know, the whole country is moving towards industrialization and education, surplus generation, different lifestyle, fashions. So the pastoralism as a lifestyle is being threatened because there is a threat from lack of availability of resources and plus lack of prestige itself, because many are taking to other lifestyles and pastoralism is outdated. And also, this kind of lifestyle of Gaddis require a lot of hard work, which modern education system doesn't encourage. So many think that this is getting extinct or nearly extinct or becoming very unremunerative, that the next generation cannot take it up. For example, one person, Monica Agarwal, who was a researcher on pastoralism, quotes Gaddi. We are on a 24-hour duty all the year around with no holidays. Many a time we go without a bath for days and weeks. We're used to do it because we've been doing it since childhood. But our children can't work so much. They find cow shit and goat shit smelly and dirty. So children of the pastoralists, children of Gaddi, have a different attitude. We are told that the rest of the world has moved on, but we have not progressed. And we no longer get the respect we used to get from the other communities when we migrate. So these are the feelings of Gaddis, so which means that this kind of lifestyle will not go on for many more years. There is a likely to be breakdown. So this was an old thing which is not likely to continue. But let us look at what is the desirable future, and should pastoralism have future, and if it should have future, how we should treat pastoralists. See, the first point is that pastoralism requires maintenance of grasslands, grazing lands, and animals moving. You know, this whole activity is extremely useful from environmental point of view. Maintaining grazing lands, making animals go around, hugely contributes to good environment, which is in tune with reversing the climate change. Okay. But what we are doing is the opposite. We're going down. So from environmental point of view, pastoralism is good. If it is good, then we have to take into account the needs of the pastoralists, which we are not. We may need to create some kinds of corridors, certain marketing facilities, some technology to preserve certain things of their products, value add to them. On the whole, we have to make things more remunerative. But leaving Gaddis aside, think of pastoralists in the rest of India. When you think of the pastoralists in the rest of India, we notice that we really don't talk about pastoralists. But there are many. Take, for example, this particular statistic. See, India has the largest livestock of population. So if we are having the largest livestock, who is managing them? It is an issue. Which means we have many pastoralists, and some say 8 to 10% of Indian population is pastoralists, but there is no documentation. They are very much invisible. There is no unity. So there is nothing like pastoralist movement. What is happening in many villages is that common grazing lands are shrinking. Commercial interests are occupying the land. There is no question of giving rights to them. So in that sense, resource base is shrinking. So you have largest livestock, but resources are shrinking and no documentation of the pastoralists themselves, no question of rights. So on the whole, this represents a kind of a skewed development. Skewed in the sense that you don't pay attention to the people, we don't pay attention to the resources. But from environmental point of view, this is good. From people's consumption point of view, this is good. And from resource use point of view also, where uncultivated land or so-called wastelands are converted to be useful through pastoralism. So neglecting pastoralists, neglecting common lands, and not having a proper policy regarding governance of the land use, paying attention to the needs of the marginalized sections. All this is a reflection of skewed priorities, which should be reversed. Thank you.